Hello YouTube, this is Hunter Surge with another commentated gameplay video. This is of course also gameplay from 3D Shoppe, which runs locals at 7 p.m. on Thursdays. Best of 3, yada yada yada. We got Coder in today. You won't see any gameplay footage from Coder because he was on the heel stall deck that was going to be played this weekend on the app tournament. So I was like, I'll just record other games. Because I didn't know when these would end up going up, if they would go, any of them would end up going up before then. So you know. But yeah. So this is me against a Chronodile, one of our Chronodile players. He just opens, puts Foamy in defense, throws down, face down, passes. I open the Rhinosect play, as you do. So I am on Kryovyrn and Rhinosect again. This is a bit more refined than previously. But yeah, I just open up the Rhinymph plus the Rhinosect. I'm just saying, yeah, get you rid of your Foamy. No Foamy effect for you. Swing in for 2. Do you have a shield for me? Yeah, and have one set down. For whatever. Yeah, and he just takes it. He just takes the 2. But yeah, this is he is running a Chronodile list. This is one of our regulars, Owen. I do not have his list, so it will not be displayed at the end of the video. But yeah, for those unfamiliar, Rhinymph is a cool little guy who you can expend an extra Frost Spirit to equip him, to empower him to an opponent's Elestral as a artifact rune, and he suppresses it and gives it -2 defense, which does not target, so you get to get around any untargetable guys. And then Rhinosect is a guy who can just be special cast if you have an Elestral. If you have a card in your Rune Road that was originally Elestral, and he can pop an empowered Elestral once per turn. But he had the Laurels. That's always an issue that this deck runs into because you get a bunch of choose out, and if your opponent has an empty board, well, Laurels is always live. So he Laurels my Rhinosect. He gets out Plucky. He puts out Plucky. I just go, I don't want to deal with that. I don't want him to get any board presence, so I'm just gonna PTA it right away. And keep it off the board, because like with the Chronodile deck, I really just don't want him getting to the point where he can just drop a Chronodile on me. Like if he goes for an Chronodile, I can deal with that. If he goes for the Chronodile now, then I can deal with that. But I don't want him, like, especially since he's going to get the Poseidon off the Plucky. I don't want him to be able to go, this survives via survives combat via some counter rune. Then he can Nexus from the Poseidon onto the Plucky, and then just hard ascend the Chronodile from his hand. But yeah, I had the Cryoling into Kryovyrn. That's the other reason I did the PTA, because it meant that in tandem with the 4 I had spent on the 4 frosts I had spent on the Rhinosect play last turn, Kryovyrn was live. Cryoling gets +1 attack for every Frost Spirit I have in my graveyard, in my underworld. And if it hits 6 during my main phase, I get to special ascend into Kryovyrn. If it has this, the moment if you already have 5 when you cast it, this happens the moment it's cast, so like PTA doesn't stop it. Gorgon's Gaze is just going to leave a big guy in attack position that they're still going to have to answer. So it's like pretty resistant to a lot of the counter runes. And then you put a Leviathan underneath it, so it's also resisting the Tsunami. And it's just a big 7/4 that your opponent has to deal with. And since he already used the Laurels, one of his potential answers is already out of his hand. So yeah, this is just going to be a threat. And later in the game, I can potentially go into... Yeah, I had another PTA. So he puts down Foamy. I just PTA it again. Just keep control of this board. Not let him get anything. Yeah. And like not let him get a special cast from deck or whatever he wants. Like since this does have a water enchantment on it, if he got like a Galaxy, that would be a 5/2 to my 4/7, and it would be able to beat over and deal with my guy. So I don't really want that. So yeah, just stop him from getting whatever he's trying to get. I have Narpoon in hand, so I'm able to build myself up for any follow-up plays I need to be doing. If he deals with what I currently have on board, I just continue to have like a dominant position in the game. Yeah, here he's going for an Eddy. He's gonna, he can't, like he could switch the Kryovyrn, but it's still going to be 4 defense, so the Eddy isn't going to be big enough to get over it, to beat over it. Like That's one of the really nice things. Both Rhinosect and Kryovyrn just can't be beat over by an Eddy. They need additional assistance to be able to do that. So yeah, one of the like common forms of just like Elestrals space removal that a lot of people are running doesn't work. And I play down the Cryoling that I sourced last turn with Narpoon to get out on Kryovyrn. This one is enchanted with 2 Frosts because I am in fact running the one Fire Spirit and the 1 Cryo Scorch in my deck because it is useful as a finisher and it doesn't take much space in the deck. So I just like run it like, okay, I'm gonna go into the Eddy. I believe he is already at a point where he is like fairly low on Spirit, so I don't really care that much. Yeah, he has a shield here, but he ends up shielding the thing that isn't double enchanted with Frost. So I'm still set up to threaten the Cryo Scorch on the next turn, which is really great. And I have forced out both of those back rows, so I know that there wasn't a Gorgon's Gaze lying in wait there. So it's over to him. He draws. It's I can see in hand. It's just a Poseidon in hand. He goes for Detragua. He is going to be able to heal up 2, and then he's going to Nexus with Poseidon to heal up another 2 off of Detragua's effect. But I do not believe that puts him out of Cryo Scorch range. If I recall correctly, that put him at 6. And unfortunately for him, he did not switch Eddy's battle position, which means I'm going to be able to just special ascend into Cryo Scorch. He has no back row, so I don't need to worry about any interference here. So I just special ascend into Cryo Scorch. That's going to blow up everyone on the board. He has no back row, so I don't have to worry about any sort of Gorgon's Gaze or whatever stopping me from doing this line. And that's going to destroy my own Tsunami, which I just said as a bluff because Tsunami isn't going to be useful in this matchup at all. Then I can re-enchant to him before I expend my Spirit deck so that he will have 4 Spirits, which will be enough to kill by beating over the Eddy. Yeah, he burns 5, leaving only 1 in his Spirit deck. And then I beat over the Eddy to deal 2 to him, and the game ends. Yeah. Cryo Scorch Gaming! We love to see it! I'm so happy. I'm so happy I got to resolve it on camera. Oh, it's so cool. It's so great. I love it. I love Cryo Scorch. I love it. It's so cool every time it goes off, and it's like such a risky play, too. It's great. It's great. It's fantastic. Alright, going into game 2, I did not sideboard at all, even though I probably should have, because he does not have a sideboard. I'm just like, I'm just going to be courteous and play a no sideboard best of 3. Even though that means I have to keep in my Tsunamis, which are very, very bad in this matchup because they don't do anything. The best I can do with them is like if he eddies an Ash Rabbit into attack position, I can Tsunami my own Eddy. That's it. But he goes first again, of course. He does the same turn 1 as he did last game, which is Foamy in defense position, 1 back row. I do not have the Rhinosect opener, so I'm just going to go for an Ash Rabbit, build up some advantage, gather my pieces, do what I need to do. Water does have a bit of an issue outside of Eddy specifically, getting over Rabbit. So like if I can sell on this and like establish some board presence, that's going to put me in a really good spot. That's exactly what I want to see happening. I set 1 back row, 2 back row actually, 2 back row, and I pass. Yeah, and with this in defense, he won't be able to force Foamy's activation unless he goes for Eddy specifically. So I feel pretty comfortable in this position. Yeah, I believe he asks here if he's able to crash and kill his own Foamy into my defense position guy, and you go, no, you can't do that. It's Yu-Gi-Oh! Combat. It's Yu-Gi-Oh! Combat! Yeah, cannot do that. That is not allowed. That's not a legal play. So he goes for the Sundial here. He is going to expend to attach 1, so that at the end phase, it will special ascend into a Nomodile from his deck. I have a PTA face down right now. So what's going to happen is in the end phase, when he goes to I'm thinking about like, oh, do I do anything about this here? And I'm like, no, of course not. Of course not. Of course not. The correct play is you just go to end phase, let him special ascend the Nomodile, and then in end phase, you flip the PTA, pay 3 total, and the Nomodile just instantly dies. Oh, he's a bit confused here. He thinks that Tsunami just changes positions. No, it switches to defense specifically of non-water enchanted, so he can't use that to switch Ash Rabbit to attack position. And yeah, in end phase, he goes for the Nomodile special ascend. And then we're just gonna blank that with the PTA. Yeah, there's the water, and then we PTA, and we get to dump several frosts so that we are getting our cryolings into Kryovyrns online. That puts us down to 16 at this moment. Yeah, and we deal with the actual problem on the field. Foamy is still sitting there though, and I don't believe at this time I have a way to really deal with it profitably. But I do have another rabbit in hand, so I can always go for the second rabbit. It's never bad to go for the second rabbit. I do believe. Yeah, we just go for the second rabbit. Yeah. Never bad to go for the second rabbit. Oh, now I have 2 5s. Have fun dealing with that. Sometimes what I'll do in this position, if I've hard drawn a 2 cost, is on my next turn, I'll just normal send over a rabbit just to get a big body on the board and start dealing with them, especially if my opponent is also just putting rabbits on the board, and just start pressuring them. And start actually doing things. He is going to go for Chautauqua here? No, he takes it back. He was going to go for Chautauqua here. He is thinking. He is thinking real hard. Okay, this part's going to get cut. Yeah, he's just, he re-enchants the Foamy, which is, I feel is definitely an incorrect play. Because like he could have just instead expended to draw and get a card to hand. Yeah, and okay, we had the Rhinymph play now, so we're gonna do the same thing we did to him turn 1. So we Rhinymph the Foamy, then we Rhinosect. I actually decide to just misenchant the Rhinosect. To make it immune to Tsunami because it's suppressed, so it's not going to get its effect when it dies by battle anyways. And it has -2 defense, so Ash Rabbit is just going to be able to beat over it, and then Rhinosect is going to be able to swing in for 2. And if he like flips Tsunami or something to stop this attack, I can still just swing over with Rhinosect. So like I'm pretty confident that there's basically no scenario where this maneuver ends poorly for me. So yeah, I just decided to go for this play. Yeah, just a bit more profitable. And yeah, use Tsunamis, putting my Ash Rabbit back in defense, which is like what I want to be seeing. Means that like, okay, I still get over the Foamy. I was threatening damage, and both my Ash Rabbits are in defense again. He's just checking his Underworld. Yeah, he goes into Chautauqua this time, healing up 2. I don't think he actually had the 2 waters in grave last turn. I think that might be why he didn't do it. No, he must have. I'm pretty sure he did. I don't know. Then he Ambrosias to also heal himself up some more. The Cryo Scorch is probably spooking him a bit, making him want to keep his spirit count up higher earlier, so that I can't threaten this Cryo Scorch like I did to win the game last time. We are now, where are we? We're at 4? Yeah, no, we're at 5, so we're going to go into the Kryovyrn, and this is just like a ridiculous board position for me. Like, it's very difficult for me to lose in a position like this. I've got the double rabbit, I've got the Rhinosect, I've got the Kryovyrn. I believe I properly enchant the Kryovyrn so I can threaten the Cryo Scorch. And then we just swing in, we just flip our Ash Rabbits to attack because we don't care if they get run over at this point. Just swing in for 4 after clearing the Chautauqua with Rhinosect. Okay, yeah, so he normal casts Aphros. I'm not sure he has the Poseidon to actually profit off it. Yeah, okay, he has the Poseidon. He's going to load up the Poseidon so that he can draw some cards and try and find some way out of this. But like with the, yeah, that is definitely a second storm mine on Kryovyrn. So, yeah, he's just going to clear off the Poseidon completely to do the Aphros and set 3 back row. That makes me a bit scared going into this turn. I'm like, I feel like if he set 3 back row, one of them is probably a Gorgon's Gaze, and that makes me feel scared. But I go into the Cryo Scorch anyways. I'm in such a good board position. He has the Gorgon's Gaze right away. So like if that ends up being what happens, I'm not terribly worried. I'm not terribly worried about my position. Because he has the Gorgon's Gaze preemptively, which means I keep my Spirit deck. Yeah, he gazes here, force out the gaze. And then we're going to be able to swing over with the Rhinosect, and then punch in for 2 with Ash Rabbit. And if he can't deal with the Cryo Scorch, we are going to be able to go for the burn 5 again next turn. Again, threatening game. Yeah, we just Cryo Scorch just put in a ton of work. Just letting us close out, like just like put ourselves in like final positions that that prevent comebacks. And yeah, he Gorgon's Gazes the Rhinosect, so I can't run over the Aphros, but that's really good for me because that means that I know that 2 Gorgon's Gaze are used up. So like if I go for the Cryo Scorch, expend to burn for 5, on a turn that isn't the one that that I and yeah, he just hard ascended into Chronodile, the thing I was worried about game 1. But if I go for the burn 5, the expending the Spirit deck is a cost, which means I will still pay it even if he Gorgon's Gazes me. So like doing it in that position is like super risky, super scary. Like I'm super worried about it, especially since my board doesn't actually allow me to get over the Chronodile right now. I have no means of actually doing that. However, if it goes through, I just win the game. He's too low, yeah, and he does not have the 3rd Gorgon's Gaze, so the burn for 5 is just able to win us the game on the spot. The Chronodile only had 5 spirits, so it was not in the position where it would actually be immune. So like we just needed to find a Laurels, and we would be eventually able to deal with the Chronodile. But yeah, we were just able to. Yeah, there's no Gorgons. We're just able to win the game. Yeah, really great. Oh man, Cryo Scorch Gaming. We love to see it.